Monica, there's been a profound and disturbing growth in the amount of money that's being spent on elections in the United States, and it has serious implications for our democracy. And another concern, frankly, is the increased secrecy around that spending. What do Americans need to understand about the impact of money in politics during the 2010 election?
Well, I think during the 2010 election, there was a real power grab by certain well-funded interests. And the most disturbing thing about it, I think, as you point out, is we don't even know who those interests are for the most part, and we have no way to hold them accountable for the way in which they flooded hundreds of millions of dollars to influence this election.
And what is the forecast for 2012?
I think one has to understand 2010 as a trial run for 2012. 2010 was the first election in 60 years in which corporations were absolutely free to spend money to influence elections, and could, and these, laws were also reversed that permitted the rise of these so-called super PACs. I think 2010 was the year in which early adopters leapt out only a few months after the Citizens United decision and started spending. But I think a lot of other interests will have hung back in this election to see how it played out. But now they can see how much leverage the secret money can wield, we can expect a huge increase in spending for the 2012 election.
There are many Americans who I think are disturbed by this trend and worried about the state of our democracy. How can they get involved? What can they do on this issue?
I think that they should demand accountability from their government and also from the corporations where they hold shares. I mean, we, after all, are not only voters, we are investors. We have pension funds, we have 401k funds. From Congress, I think there are some fairly simple steps that can be taken that would, in fact, restore accountability to government. The first in the short term would be to demand disclosure of this secret money, and in the longer term to return election to the voters by passing small donor public financing. And then as shareholders, we should be demanding, in the form of shareholder proxies, etc., accountability from the corporations who are using our money. And we should be saying, we don't want our investments used to oppose gay marriage. We don't want our investments used on these hot-button partisan political issues. This is our money, and and we need to have a say in where it's going.
Wonderful. That's very helpful. Thank you.